It's time for Coffee with the Chicken Ladies, a podcast for people who love chickens.
Hey everybody, and welcome. It's Chrisie&Holly from Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. We're here, and this is episode number 193 of our podcast, where we talk about everything chicken, family, fun, and
more chickens.
More chickens. We drink a ton of coffee. I'm talking a ton. But most importantly,
we hug chickens every day.
And we kiss them too. Don't forget. We brew coffee from a little coffee roaster in Houston, Texas. Bright and early coffee. Holly Ann, what kind of coffee are we brewing today?
Delicious and fragrant hazelnut.
I mean, it's delicious. If you're not trying out this coffee, you are missing out. Plus, we have a code. It's CWTCL 15 for 15% off all bag coffee on the website. And what's the website that they need to go to?
brightandearlycoffee.com.
Or go to Amazon for the K-Cups. They always ship free. And follow them on social media. Are you ready to sip some of this delicious hazelnut coffee and chat?
I am. But first, a word from our sponsor.
We have some exciting news to share from our sponsor, Grubly Farms. They're here, new and improved, Grubly's World Harvest.
I'm a longtime subscriber, and my flock love the healthy, nutritious treats, plus orders $40 and more ship free.
If you haven't heard, Grubly's has a fantastic layer pellet and crumble feed. It's packed with plant and insect protein, perfect for those picky chickens and ducks.
Grubly Farms makes food and treats for healthy pets and planet.
To support us and Grubly Farms, use the link grubly.co/coffee. Try it today. Okay, so it's hot again.
It's hot again. We're integrating the pullets and little rooster right now, so that's fun.
We have not started yet, but as anybody who follows us on social media knows, we both have a little rooster.
Yes, we do.
My first rooster in 10 years. We have all the names pouring in on Instagram for the little man.
Do you have any front runners for the name?
Well, Sophia is loving Einstein.
I have to say that's pretty good.
But right now I call him the little man.
Little man's good, but
until
Einstein
we pick
is pretty
a name.
good. Yeah.
Until we pick a name. So we have some reels up there. If you want to get in on it, go over there and comment what you think he should be named.
Suggestions, yeah. My little silver leghorn is Giorgio Armani.
Yes. And he's crazy.
He is, wow. He's a diva.
Mm-hmm.
And the brown leghorn is beautiful, and she is very calm and lets me handle her no problem. The silver leghorn hen, she's a little crazier. She's Muccia Prada.
Yeah.
And she's a little calmer, but when he goes off, she goes off. I was like, guys, you're the ones who are giving leghorns a bad name.
Yeah, because I got Lucy over here.
Well, like I said, Donatella Versace is the brown leghorn.
Yeah.
And she's a stunner, and she's very calm.
Yeah.
So I do have my Lucy. But those little silvers are a little, I'm wondering if it's because they are little, they're just very reactive.
Maybe
once they're in with the, in the big run with the other girls for a while, they'll settle down.
Yeah. And I'm going to have to start getting my babies getting ready to go outside. They've been under the fans. I feel like it's almost too hot to put them out there right now without the fans.
If we hadn't started already, I think it would be a bigger deal. Like, I wouldn't want to take them out there for the first time when it's this hot.
It's too hot.
Yeah.
It's too hot. Yeah. So, the little man, he had his crow for the first time the other day. Didn't crow again for like a day and a half. And then this morning was crowing again.
Man, this morning he was singing a song.
I know.
And he's loud.
I didn't think he was that loud. Well, maybe.
He sounded loud to me.
Well, hopefully.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he didn't sound that loud to you because you listen. All of my roosters are loud.
Oh.
And you hear them all the time.
Oh, yeah. Well, you never hear it on my end, but now you will be.
No, it's pretty funny. It was making me laugh. It's funny. He's so cute.
It is. Like it wears off at the end. Like he doesn't have the energy.
They almost sound like a little bellows after they crow. And this is all of them. If you're close enough to them to hear it, they'll go and wind down a little bit.
Yeah, they're like,
it's really cute.
Man. Okay, well, on that note, if you're listening to our show and you're loving it, head on over to Apple Podcast and leave us a written review. It does amazing things for the growth of our show. And while you're there, hit that subscribe button. They count them, and it doesn't cost you a thing, and it really does help us out.
If you're looking for other ways to help support the podcast, you can tell a few chicken-loving friends about the show. You can share your favorite episodes on social media. You can visit our Etsy shop. Tanks, logo mugs, t-shirts.
It's all there.
You can become a patron of the show, patreon.com/coffeewiththechickenladies. A gigantic thank you to all of our patrons. We love all of you. And the other thing you can do to help support the show is visit our website and our show notes, use our affiliate links and discount codes, and buy products from our sponsors.
Yay!
If you're looking for a chicken coop that's produced in a planet-friendly, sustainable way, try Nestera.
Each coop is made from highly durable, 100% recycled plastic that keeps the equivalent of up to 2,000 shampoo bottles out of a landfill.
Their clean, modern design will fit into any garden or run area and comes with an industry-beating 25-year warranty and a range of handy accessories.
Simple to put together, so quick and easy to clean, and most importantly, red mite resistant. Your chickens will love it.
Quick shipping from Nestera US.
For a 5% discount, use the affiliate link in our show notes, on our website, and on Instagram. Link in bio. Check them out today.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Do you like subscription boxes?
Does it have anything to do with chickens?
Of course.
Then yeah. Let me take a minute to tell you about the Chicken Love Box. If you love goodies for your chickens and you need to go to chickenlove.com.
I love the mega box. Tons of useful products for my flock and a chicken tea for me.
You can't go wrong with a chicken tea. They are so cute and so soft.
In the April box, I absolutely love the chick leg bands and the organic soap set with hen decoration.
I am loving the Chicken Spirit long sleeve tee, and those chick vitamins, they could save a chick for sure.
Boxes start at $39 a month. They ship immediately after your order, and shipping is always free.
Such a great deal. Don't wait. Get off the nest and click already. Use the code CWTCL50 for 50% off your first box of a 3-month subscription or more. That's chickenlove.com. That's chickenluv.com. Get your subscription today.
The Breed Spotlight is brought to you by McMurray Hatchery, defining quality for generations. For over a century, McMurray Hatchery has remained a trusted family-owned business working tirelessly to ensure our poultry meet the highest standards.
Whether you are an experienced enthusiast or just embarking on the journey, look to McMurray Hatchery for guaranteed quality, rare and heritage breeds, low minimums, and all the supplies you need to raise your flock. Request a free catalog today. We did not cross over on the Mayflower, but we are called the Pilgrim Goose. Welcome to this week's Breed Spotlight. Yeah.
Yeah. Was that the Ballad of the Pilgrim Goose? Well,
this week's Breed Spotlight is
the Pilgrim Goose.
They did not sail over on
They were not on the Mayflower. They've not been in existence that long. These are really nice geese. The Pilgrim Goose is an American breed that has been around for about 100 years, give or take. As we hinted, there is some misinformation and debate about their origins. But honestly, we have a pretty clear picture of where they came from after doing some research.
Right.
Despite their name, this goose was not on the Mayflower, and they did not exist when the Pilgrims reached Plymouth. They weren't there
They
at
were
all.
not there, along with the chickens who weren't there.
Right. What they are is a calm, beautiful, auto-sexing American heritage breed that is currently in the threatened category of the Livestock Conservancy's conservation priority list.
Oh, man, they need some help.
They do. The beautiful Pilgrim Goose was developed in Iowa in the
One of our favorite places.
Iowa in the 1920s by Oscar Grow, who was a master waterfowl breeder, a fancier, and a judge. Mrs. Grow, this is straight from the horse's mouth because I have one of his waterfowl books, and he writes about this. When the Great Depression struck, Grow and his wife relocated from Iowa to Missouri.
Okay.
I'm not sure,
Iowa. Why?
I'm not sure why. I guess it was an economic opportunity. I don't know. But they, for whatever, because of the Depression, they moved to Missouri. Mrs. Grow referred to their move as a pilgrimage, and she named the geese Pilgrims as a sort of memorial.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, it is that simple. So what Oscar Grow did when he created this breed is to use his understandings of the genetics of gray and white farm geese to develop this distinct breed.
They're pretty.
They're really pretty. There are a couple of other breeds with similar auto-sexing traits, including the West of England goose and the Cotton Patch Goose. They're similar. They're not the same.
Right.
The Pilgrim does share some traits with them. And essentially, what you're doing is you're using white males and gray females.
Okay.
And that's what he did in a certain way to create this breed.
Right.
So just like the barred rock is used in so many crosses to create barring or auto-sexing, similar. The Pilgrim is Oscar Grow's own genetic mix used to create the bloodlines of this breed. They don't exist anywhere. Some people will say like they're just like West of England geese, but they're not.
Okay.
They are a distinct breed. There are records of some auto-sexing geese in colonial and early America, and that's where the confusion comes in. These were almost certainly the West of England geese.
Okay.
That's what would have been coming over here.
Okay.
The Pilgrim Goose was accepted by the American Poultry Association in 1939 in the medium goose class. Now, remember, one of the qualifications to be an APA standard bird is to mate naturally and breed true.
Right.
So, this proves that he wasn't just messing around.
Right. He knew his stuff.
Exactly. He created a distinct breed.
Now, at first glance, the Pilgrim geese resemble the Toulouse.
They do. They're so pretty.
They're not the same body type.
Because the Toulouse is a chunk.
Okay. So they're very pretty, gray color with a white face or white patches around their face. Now, the ganders are mostly white with some gray in their saddle feathers and in their wing feathers. So again, the boys get more coloring, blah, 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 blah.
Well, because of the way the goose feathers run and their huge wings, you actually can't see a lot of the gray. So it's only when you get close up that you start to see the gray on them. They look white from a distance.
So their sexual dimorphism makes it very easy to identify them at hatch in case you're looking to buy or keep ganders, okay? So as adults, both sexes have orange bills and legs, and each should have a moderately long neck, a deep breast, and balanced lobes on their paunch, okay?
The paunch, okay, because I know a lot of people don't know what the paunch is.
Let's explain it.
When you look at a goose, it'll have like big belly hanging down.
Yeah.
That's paunch. And it will be actually two different lobes.
Okay.
So they sort of have like a twin paunch.
Okay. That's very unique sounding.
It's very unique. It's a goose specialty.
Now, the females will have dark eyes and weigh at around 13 pounds, while the ganders will have blue eyes and weigh at around 15 pounds. So it's another way to tell the difference between the two.
I don't know. That's gorgeous. A white gander with blue eyes.
Oh, yeah. Now, the female pilgrim geese are pretty fair layers. They're generally going to give you 30 to 40 eggs per year, or around 3 dozen or so. So when you get the geese, you're not expecting the same amount as chicken.
Which, if you take into account the size of them, that's actually more like 9 dozen in chicken egg size.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah.
Now, their eggs are big, so usually 6 to 7 ounces, and make fantastic omelets, work well in any kind of custard, and they will go broody and make some good parents, okay? So if you need a broody, they'll work out. But this breed sometimes has fertility issues.
Right. And it makes them more difficult to breed than some of the other geese. And so while personality-wise, we would not hesitate to recommend them as a beginner's goose, breeding them is a little more involved.
Right. Exactly.
So if you're getting into geese with the object of breeding, you might want to look at a different breed.
But these geese are beautiful and practical, so they're good to go with that way.
They make great showbirds, but they're also a really great goose for a small farm or homestead.
Right.
They're laid-back personalities, and they are very gentle. Unless it's mating season, and that's any goose.
Yeah.
But with those laid-back personalities, and they have excellent grazing and weeding and foraging habits, it actually makes them a valuable addition to any garden or farm, especially permaculture or regenerative ag setups.
Right.
All that goose poop. Like any goose breed, pilgrims will sound the alarm if someone or something doesn't look right to them.
That's one of the reasons why people get them a lot.
Yeah.
They can be taken by predators. Let's
Absolutely.
put that out there. But they are a good alarm system, and they are harder for predators to take.
Right. All geese require deep enough water to dunk their heads, and they definitely appreciate the chance to take a swim.
Now, here's the thing we want everybody to know. They need some time to graze. They are vegetarians, okay?
Yeah.
And it's beneficial for them to have exercise every day. The thing about them being vegetarians, which we should put out there, is they shouldn't be eating grubs or insects. They're not eating those. They're not meat eaters. They're just veg. That's it.
They're literally just veg.
And
right?
grass.
They're not omnivores. They're herbivores 100%.
So you shouldn't be giving them grubs or anything on those lines.
Yeah. Occasionally when they're babies, you'll see them grab a bug. But by the time they're grown up, which is usually at about 8 weeks, it is strictly vegetarian.
Yeah, they shouldn't be eating it.
Right. Geese make excellent and even affectionate companions. And I got to tell you, goose cuddles rank right up there with chicken hugs.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, I love it, love it, love it. They like you to be on their level, and they like to get in your lap.
Yeah.
Which is the sweetest thing.
Well, I'm always on the phone when yours are talking to you or biting your clothes or your hair.
They will preen you.
Yeah.
And you have to, as a goose owner, you have to know when to say enough is enough and back them down.
Right.
But they are very, very affectionate. And if they love you, they will preen you.
Well, I've heard it.
Sometimes they preen a little too hard.
Okay. So let's get into, if you want this great goose, where are you going to go?
Well, McMurray Hatchery does sell pilgrim goslings.
Yes, they do.
You can also get them from our friends at Metzer Farms.
Yes, you can.
And if you're looking to show your geese, we suggest you join the APA and you'll have access to other great breeders.
So there you go. How did Harriet like listening to the Goose Breed Spotlight?
Okay, Harriet is this adorable little ceramic goose that Chrissy bought me in Goodwill. She has a pink bonnet on, and Harriet thoroughly enjoyed it. Harriet is an Emden goose. She's white.
Yeah, she's sitting next to the laptop where we record.
I'm falling victim to my own Breed Spotlight again because I'm like, I really like the Pilgrims. But aren't they pretty with that white face on the females?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's why we got a big goose house.
So if you have the Pilgrim Goose, send us some pictures, or better yet, put it in your story, hit the mention button, and then type our name in and under mention, and then it'll come right to us and we'll reshare it.
Are you ready to dive into the fascinating world of backyard ducks? Look no further than Metzer Farms, your premier destination for top quality waterfowl. Whether you're a seasoned breeder or just starting out, Metzer Farms has everything you need to elevate your flock to the next level. And if you're passionate about call ducks, you're in for a treat.
Metzer Farms hatches a stunning variety of call ducks, meticulously bred for their miniature size, beauty, and calm temperament. From snowy whites to vibrant colors, each duck is a masterpiece waiting to grace your backyard. Visit MetzerFarms.com today to browse their extensive selection and start your journey into the wonderful world of waterfowl. Metzer Farms, where passion meets perfection. Roosty's proudly sponsors Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. They're back with an innovative new product. You're going to want to check this out.
It's an extra large set, a 14-pound feeder and 3-gallon water with steep anti-roost lids. They're made of super durable material. You can either stand them on legs or hang them on brackets on your coop or fence. They're easy to remove and clean too. Plus, they look awesome.
We personally use Roosties and we're huge fans. So if you're raising chicks or keeping chickens, check out the Roosty store on Amazon or follow the link in our show notes. Okay, so we're ready to move on to main topic. Yeah. Okay, so it's about this time again that we bring in Mark Eggers and Twain Lockhart from Nutrena, two of our favorite guys out there, to come on in and have the round table with us. How are you guys doing?
Super. Glad to be here again.
Very good. Doing good.
Good. We're happy to have you.
Is it hot summer where you are, or you got a little break from the heat?
No, 90s here in Nebraska, so hot and humid.
Yeah, today's not too bad. It's mid 80s and humid. And, you know, this time of year, I field a whole bunch of questions, and it sounds like such a cop-out because my answer almost always is, well, you know, it's probably the weather.
Yeah.
and people think that, oh my God, that's such a cop-out. But it's true. It's most of the time. True. That's what's going on.
And last week we had 4 days of 100 plus here in the Mid-Atlantic, and it was horrible on chickens and chicken keepers because I was out there just as much with them, and we were all out there with them, and it's just not fun. Yeah. It's not a fun time.
Yeah, water consumption goes up and egg laying production goes down. So
yeah.
We have these gigantic barrel fans for the livestock barns, and I will not tell you how long I stood in front of that fan. Really nice.
That's why mid-80s actually feels really good today and humid, but it still feels better than 100.
Yeah, it sounds great. So what's going on at Nutrena? Anything new that you can tell us about?
Well, you know what? Timing is really good on this call here because we do have a brand new layer product coming out.
You're hearing it first here on the Chicken Lady.
That's exactly right. This is
an exclusive scoop.
So you're talking.
You guys have even had a chance to try it. You did some of the testing for us.
Oh, so yes, we did.
Really, really good. Everybody here in just a couple of weeks, you will see the new Nutrena NatureWise Harvest Blend. It is a textured layer feed.
So we're talking a lot of whole grains. And I will say, before anyone asks, our hens went crazy for it. They loved it.
And they were so sad when it was gone. And I was like, it's gone, girls. It's gone. We were just some testers.
I know what. Mine did too. Mine protested when it was over. What was their favorite feed before and my hens get a lot, and so do Twain's. They get a lot of different feeds that we test some new things on, but I always go back to the 16% layer, and Nature-Wise layer, and in the pellet, and they love it. They eat it all the time. But after the harvest blend, they just threw it everywhere. It was like I was waiting for the protest signs to come out. Where's my harvest blend?
So why don't
the look of disappointment on their little chicken faces was real. They were like, "Where is it?"
I know, because it lasted like 2 weeks or a week and a half or so, and they were just like, "What the heck?" So, Mark, why don't you break it down for us? What is this food harvest blend?
So really quickly, it is a texturized layer feed. So you will see all the grains in it. So for those of you that really like to see the cracked corn, the oats, the wheat, the milo, the sunflower seeds in there, the peas, you'll see all that in the feed. And then oyster shell, there's even some oyster shell in there too. And then there is a pellet in there that has the essential oil pack and all the vitamins and minerals and amino acids and, the extra protein, all that is in the pellet. The really cool thing about this, Wayne was actually part of a group about 5 years ago that looked at this product back then. And we chose not to come out with it at that time because the birds were sorting it. They would sort the pellets out and throw them out. The difference today is the essential oil pack that we have in Nature-Wise and that is exclusive to Nature-Wise. We have proven over and over again that we get really, really good consumption with all of our Nature-Wise feeds because of that essential oil pack. And what we have found is now, since we have that pack, all of a sudden they don't sort pellets. All that essential oil is, the essential oils that is in all of our Nature-Wise feeds is concentrated into that pellet in Harvest Blend. And those birds really, really like that. They go to it. So when this comes out, when you first feed it, the vast majority of us, when we fed it, have not had any sorting whatsoever. I didn't. And you guys didn't either, right?
No,
we have had
everything.
Just a few flocks that will pick some of the pellets out right when you first put it in there. But by the end of the day, they've eaten them all.
Yeah.
And so we feel very, very confident that all the different testing we've done on this, we get really, really good laying, actually every bit as good as laying production numbers as we get on any of our Nature-Wise layer feeds. So this is quickly becoming maybe my favorite Nature-Wise layer.
It's exciting.
I will absolutely be feeding this to my girls. They truly loved it. And this would be appropriate for people who really like to soak or ferment their feed because it's grain-based.
Yeah. So for anybody that does like to do that, just remember it's very, very critical that you do that right. So this feed does not have to be soaked or anything like that, or fermented. You can just feed it straight. That's what we've done. But for those people that do like to do that, yes, you could do that to this because you do have the whole grains in there.
Yeah.
And
exciting stuff.
It's really important that they don't sort it for your egg production. What we have found is birds, when they sort the feed, your egg production goes down because they're not getting a complete diet. By them not sorting this feed, they're getting a complete diet.
Yeah. I mean, my girls have never been fond of the big field peas, which I know are a great source of protein and vitamins and minerals. But so the first couple of days I fed them Harvest Blend, they threw the field peas out. But by the end of each day, they were gone. Everything was gone. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Mine just thought it was like a smorgasbord out there. They were just like eating everything. And then when it was done, they were so sad. It was almost like they're looking at you like, what did you do?
It was a real disappointment.
That's exciting stuff. And we're so happy to be able to tell everybody about it on our show.
Is this a limited release or can you buy it at any local feed store?
So it is going to be launched here in August. So everybody, about the second week of August is when you should see it starting to show up in stores.
Right.
And it is going to be launched pretty much across the whole nation. Well, it will come into the West maybe a week or two after it does in the East and the South. But yeah, it will be by the end of August. You'll be able to get it pretty much about anywhere. So
and it'll be on Chewy as well, won't it, Mark? Or
at some point, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure how quickly that'll hit that. But
a lot of
the dealers first. So.
Our listeners are telling us they're so happy that you guys are on Chewy so they can have their food delivered directly to our door. We have listeners telling us this. So, yeah, that's amazing stuff. Love it.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. But again, Nature-Wise Harvest Blend is the name of the product. Texturized feed has every bit of the nutrition and essential oils that any of our Nature-Wise feeds do. And it is 18% protein, a higher protein layer feed that a lot of people are looking for.
And it's going to come in a 40-pound bag, which is great.
40-pound bag. So,
Awesome. Okay, so wonderful. I want to change the subject just a little bit and kind of get on to what we're going to talk about today. I want to see if you guys can tell us a little bit about waterfowl nutrition and what they need, because it is different than chickens.
The Country Feeds duck, the first thing that we did in that project, and I was involved with, I went to 4 nationally known duck breeders that showed ducks and asked them for, hey, if you could design a feed, what would be your bullet points? What do you want in a duck food? And they all pretty much told me the same thing. Maybe they weren't in the same order, but they all had the same bullet points. They wanted a lower calcium level because the drakes are more susceptible to calcium poisoning. I will address that in a few minutes. They wanted a higher niacin level for duck leg health. That's very, very important. The only contention, they were a little bit different on the protein level. And that's a weird one that you can get on a duck forum on Facebook and everybody has their own idea. But 18% seemed to be the happy consensus. Because if you go too high, the consumers have this obsession with protein. And with ducks, it's pretty common. If you get too high, it can help cause them to have a problem called angel wing, where the tips of the wings turn. Now, the duck breeders also told me that can be from genetics. It can be caused by a lot of things, but having too high protein can definitely contribute to it. So 18% protein. And then the last one was, a couple of other points was lower in mycotoxins. You guys need to formulate this so it's low in mycotoxins. In case your audience doesn't know what those are, they're the funguses that occur in grains, things like vomitoxin, aflatoxin. Well, chickens and turkeys, they deal with it. We've had them domesticated for 5,000 years or so. Game birds like pheasants, quail, and especially ducks. Ducks are hypersensitive to mycotoxins. So we've formulated all of our duck feeds for lower mycotoxin levels. And that really seems to help hatch levels and mortality rates on your chicks.
That's huge. And I have to say that since I became a goose mama, I monitor a lot of the, Facebook groups and social media boards for duck and geese folk. There's a lot of toxicity, sudden death from toxicity. It's a real problem.
And there's several ingredients that really are the key kind of culprits with that. So we don't even allow those ingredients in those formulas. And that's really the biggest way we've kept that out. So we actually call it out to where they can't even be used. Yep.
Fantastic. That's really reassuring because I've had chickens for 20 years, but these geese, and I fell in love with these geese. But it's a whole new ballgame for me. They're very similar to chickens, but they're not the same.
No, and a lot of people will feed now. And now doing an all flock is one thing because your all flock does have a lower calcium level. I would guess, and I don't have any stats or anything to back this up, but I bet you there's a lot of drakes that die from calcium poisoning. Yeah. And people just don't know because how many people are going to take, Daffy falls over on his side and dies. Daffy's, they're not going to take him into a necropsy or find out what happened. But, feeding chicken layer feed, your male ducks can definitely get calcium poisoning from that.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say, what's the percentage of sudden death in drinks, and that might be all linked to calcium in the food. I mean, that's why we wanted to talk about this, because there are real differences, even though they're all in the poultry family, they're different. Waterfowl is different than chickens and everything else. So I love these points, and everyone really needs to listen that has the waterfowl, because these are excellent points that you're bringing up.
And
So-
they also wanted a very hard pellet. So the country feed stock is a very hard pellet, because a lot of your waterfowl breeders, they will literally put the feed in a low pan and cover that with water so that the wild birds can't get in it neat. The ducks can. So they don't want a pellet that turns to mush real fast.
Okay.
So these were the points that they all came up with. I think I'm missing one, Mark.
I think you've hit kind of the key points on it. The other one was we got that we actually came out with a second product, right?
Yes.
So the duck and all flock starter, if you want to talk about that just a little bit.
Yeah, ducks grow crazy fast. They just do. Okay, so ducklings are pretty much ready to go off starter feed at about 4 or 5 weeks, believe it or not. I mean, they grow that fast. And we didn't feel that we were doing the public service by saying this is a one-size-fits-all. The chicks, I keep calling them chicks, the ducklings need a little bit higher protein, but it's the higher niacin, pretty much no calcium in the starter. And that definitely the no mycotoxins or low mycotoxin formulation, because that is it can be deadly with your ducklings. And if you're breeding ducks, it really definitely affects the hatch rates. And so we have a starter feed. So we have all life stages covered. So the first 4 to 5 weeks, you're going to be on that starter, and then you go right to the adult food, the country feed stock.
So the starter is the duck and all flock starter.
Yes.
Nutrena duck and all flock starter. Is that nature-wise?
That's country feed.
That's country feed. Okay. Yeah, that's the one I used for my goslings, and they did fantastically well on it. And if you think ducklings grow quickly, goslings, it's insane how fast they grow.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So, and it was really fascinating to me how quickly you transition both the ducklings and the goslings to adult food. So can you talk a little bit about that and what your offerings are? Like, what's the next stage food after the starter?
Well, you would go to either the country feed stock. Some people, before we had the country feed stock, a lot of people went to all flock, which works. It's a lower calcium. But we have that higher niacin level in the duck and also the lower mycotoxin level. So, I mean, whenever possible, that's one of the things these duck guys told me. They need to feed duck feed to ducks. Okay, feeding them anything else, it's just not going to be as effective. And I just remembered the other point they wanted, and this was a deal breaker. They wanted animal protein in that duck feed.
Yeah.
Because ducks are omnivores. I don't know if you know this or not. Ducks are omnivores and geese are vegetarians.
Right.
But there's not enough meat product or animal products in the country feed stock to harm a goose. Right. But there's enough in there to really make it. And let me tell you, in the show world, the country feed stock is kicking butt. It's really doing well.
I'm sure. I mean, I've used that duck and all flock starter and then onto the country feed duck pellets. And then I'm also transitioning. I'm keeping that as a staple, but I'm also getting them onto the nourishing waterfowl food, which I know you'll talk about in a minute. But my geese look amazing. They're gorgeous. They're almost fully feathered. They're not even 8 weeks old yet. And they just are stunning. I'm sure some of that's genetics, but we know you see the results in the feed.
I mean, it's nutrition. Anybody versus, we're talking about people, animals, anything. You have to have the right nutrition going into your body to keep you healthy and happy. So it all starts with the food and the nutrition and what you're putting in. And you guys have it covered. It's really good.
Yeah, and one key point too, when we put both of those feeds together, so that insights that when we went out and talked to those breeders, remember all those breeders also show ducks, right? And so we got a lot of insights that what we put together really needed to help for those birds in the show ring too. And so your comment around those birds look fantastic, right? We've taken that into account too when we put that product together. The other piece that is really, really key that we found on waterfowl, this is for ducks and geese both, but both respond really, really well to probiotics. And so we do have probiotics in that feed also in both the duck and all flock starter to help those goslings get started and ducklings get started, and to get that gut health kind of working the way it should to help them. And then also in the actual adult duck feed too. So it's in both.
That's fantastic. I mean, once you are doing waterfowl, you realize that unlike chickens, food moves through waterfowl really quickly.
Yep.
So I would imagine that, the probiotics, the effectiveness of the probiotics is going to show up fast in waterfowl.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, and kind of some of the things that we're kind of thinking about for the next series, we're also doing some evaluations on looking at a few different of the essential oils to see if we could maybe down the road add some of that in there to see if we see a benefit. So we're actually doing some testing on some of that right now.
Oh, great.
Nice. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
One of the duck guys, man, this was a big deal. And it was actually when we developed, I don't think your audience understands sometimes when we develop a new product, how long it takes and how much work it takes, because you have to get everybody involved going in at least relatively the same direction, like the production people and things like that. These duck guys wanted a mini pellet. They wanted a small pellet because a lot of them raise call ducks, which are your little guys. And the plants would much rather make a full-size pellet. They can make more of them faster. It's just easier for them. So that was a big point of contention. But that was actually, I'm going to give Stephanie a call out. That was Stephanie that made that happen. So.
And it was also really important too. It is tougher to make that small pellet hard.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a lot easier to make that big pellet hard. So I'll give production team a lot of credit there, getting to where they got that pellet hard and a smaller size.
So the duck feed, the duck pellets, they're a smaller size than most pellets so that bantam ducks can eat them easily?
Correct.
Yep,
fantastic.
correct.
And I remember on that conversation, Stephanie she was like a broken record. She just kept saying, what's better for the animals? What's better for the animals?
Well, I mean, it's actually brilliant. Call ducks are going crazy popular right now. Like,
oh, yeah.
Call ducks.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. I didn't even pick up on the fact that they're a smaller pellet because the geese just shovel them in. The geese are huge.
Yeah, geese don't. But, everybody can eat a small pellet, but not everybody can eat a big pellet.
Right.
So,
of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Have you had any feedback from people how the bantam ducks are doing with the nature-wise nourishing, the floating
that
pellet?
one I don't know. I haven't talked to any of the call duck guys on that one yet.
Okay.
The nourishing is relatively new, and that's kind of our go-to goose feed, even though it's a waterfowl, because I think more geese people like a floating food.
Yeah, the geese.
It is a little big. It might be a little big for call ducks, to be honest with you.
And that is the key piece with the nourishing product, is it is a floating product. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, geese just make a giant mess when they eat. They get a mouthful of water, they fling it in the feeder. So if you have the food in the water to begin with, it's probably a lot easier.
Probably.
I was really excited because my local TSC had a stack of bags. So, of course, I grabbed one. I don't think the girls were quite old enough yet, but I'm giving them both the duck pellet and starting to give them the floating feed. As they grow, their bills are really big now. So I think they're going to really like it. They just have to grow up a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The nourishing feed is definitely for adults. It's not a starter feed. But it's for the adult ducks and geese.
What kind of geese did you get?
They're so beautiful. I got a French Toulouse and I got two American buffs.
Okay.
These two beautiful apricot colored girls in this French Toulouse, and they are so smart and so beautiful, and we are so in love with them. They're just fun.
And no gander?
No gander.
No Ryan Gosling.
No Ryan Gosling. That's right.
No Ryan Gosling. I mean, that might change. No, that probably isn't going to change. I just wanted girls.
The ganders make fantastic watchdogs, but you have to be in charge. They're as bad as the worst rooster.
I heard this fantastic interview with Dave Holderreed, who was a master waterfowl breeder, and he said he really likes horse women getting geese and I grew up with horses because you instinctively know when to stop a behavior before it becomes troublesome.
That trainer kicks in, right? Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and you have to, if they get wild, you've got to back them up and show them who's boss. Never mean, but you got to be in charge. It's true.
Yeah, in many countries, they use geese as watchdogs because you can't throw a goose a steak to distract him,
Right.
And they actually, peafowl work pretty good for that too, for guarding things.
We've got some great videos of our middle daughter. She just is scared to death of geese, and we chase her, and we laugh all the time at it. But
It makes great
I
content.
had to think about that. So
I know. I got to go over to Holly Ann's, and I haven't been able to because she's had COVID. So I'm like, man, these they're going to be chasing me everywhere.
No,
Not good.
you never. This is like rule number 1: never run from the goose.
I know.
Touch the ground.
They've got her buffaloed because everybody else can go up and pet them and everything. And the minute she gets up there, they'll just go chase her. Right like that.
Man. So we want to end today's roundtable with asking you guys a little bit about your own flocks and how's it going right now? Because everybody's going to want to know.
We are experiencing the heartbreak drum roll. We have an egg eater. And we can't figure out who it is.
No.
And my wife is like the queen of the crock pot. Okay. That is a crock pot offense if she catches somebody eating an egg and she can't. We did the mustard egg thing. They ate it. They ate the egg. There wasn't anything left. We couldn't tell who did it. It doesn't bother me that much, but oh my God, she's pretty incensed.
Oh no, that was not a good update on your flock.
No, they make a mess. She just bought some rollout nest boxes. So
yeah.
Yes.
We talk about those all the time, that they're supposed to be so helpful because they take the eggs away instantly as soon as they lay them. They don't give them the opportunity to do that. I like that she did that.
Although the girls now, they seem to know it's coming because now they're just kind of laying on the floor of the coop.
Oh, man.
They got wind. They must have a mole. They must have a mic in the house or something. They know that thing's coming. So, we'll get it sorted out. But otherwise, everybody's doing fine.
And Mark, how's everybody doing on your end?
Doing great. We expansion number 3 was just completed.
Oh.
So we added that other 10 by 10 section that we were talking about last time onto our bigger run. The Golden Polish and Lavender Orpingtons are all home. So they're all now about 20 weeks old, and just the Orpingtons just starting to lay. We've got a couple of pullet eggs here just in the last week. They look gorgeous. Those Lavender Orpingtons are just beautiful.
They're stunning.
The Golden Polish are great too. They're the old top dress on them is crazy good. Yeah, they're fun. And
are they getting tipped on?
You know what? They're not.
Oh, good.
So we were really kind of a little bit concerned about that. But I think having that a little bit extra room in there too gives everybody a little more room too.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that kind of probably has helped that a little bit. But yeah, the birds look gorgeous. Everything's doing good. And the silky chicks, I think, are they 4 weeks from getting a couple of them at the place too. So
nice.
They're at my nephew's place. The silky chicks are. So
awesome.
Yeah, doing good. Doing great.
It's so great to have you guys. It's so great to see you. We're so glad that you come on multiple times a year because we would miss you if you didn't. Because we love seeing you guys. And Twain, thank you for coming out to Murray Fest to see us.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. We'll talk to you guys later.
Sounds good. See you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. We just want to thank Mark and Twain one more time for a great conversation. It's always wonderful to be able to put some new information out there about feeding waterfowl with the way ducks are becoming so popular, and gooses.
And that harvest blend is coming soon, and we cannot wait. And remember, you heard it first on our show.
My girls were all about that harvest blend.
You heard it first here.
Right.
Okay, so we're ready to move on to
cracking the eggs.
Cracking those eggs. Now, this week, we were talking about my late mother-in-law, and she's had other recipes on the show that we have adapted. Now, she was a cook of not many things, but what she liked to cook, she cooked many of.
Yeah, she had like signature dishes, and she would make them in bulk.
And then she would always make them.
Yeah.
Once you had something from Judy, you always had it. So we're bringing in Judy's Meatballs because we had a story, and I'll start with it's a short story, but we were throwing a 25th anniversary party for my parents at my aunt and uncle's house. And of course, Holly was there with us planning it the whole way through with us.
It was a lot. Yeah.
It was a lot. We were only like 20 years old.
We were really young.
So I was just dating my husband, Joe, and his mom, she always brought meatballs and sausage to every party. So we were like, okay, well, Judy, you can make meatballs. Well, Judy not only made the meatballs.
Judy made the meatballs.
She rolled over 350 meatballs.
That's a lot of meatballs.
So that's a lot of meatballs. And she had a really good recipe. And it wasn't anything over the top fancy, but everyone raved about Judy's meatballs. So this week, we're bringing in Judy's meatballs.
Now, there's no vegetarian component to this recipe because it just is what it is. We will be doing vegetarian meatballs on another episode.
Yeah.
Right now, you can just glory in the meat.
Okay, so let's go through the ingredients that you're going to need. You're going to need a pound of lean ground beef or a ground meat of your choice. Ground turkey would be my choice that I would use.
Right.
A half a cup of the Italian-style breadcrumbs, a quarter cup of milk, a half a teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, a quarter teaspoon of pepper, a small onion finely chopped, about a quarter cup, and there we go, the 1 egg. And you're also going to have some Italian seasonings that you're going to be putting in here of your own choice.
If you only have plain breadcrumbs, just put a little more of the Italian seasoning and you're fine.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to preheat your oven to 400 degrees. These are baked meatballs, which makes it way easier.
It's so much easier.
Preheat your oven to 400. You're going to grab a 9 by 13 inch pan or something similar size. Line it with foil and then spray the foil with some cooking spray, preferably olive oil, and set it aside. Find yourself a nice big mixing bowl. You're going to add all of those ingredients and stir them together until the mixture is fairly uniform. Like, I'm going to say this from my days as a meat eater cooking meat. Use a light hand. Do not make these into like meatloaf pate.
Oh, no.
Use a light hand when you roll these out. So shape them into meatballs approximately 1.5 to 2 inches in diameter. You're going to place the balls on the baking sheet.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. But place the balls on the baking sheet about 1 inch apart. Pop them in the oven. They're going to bake for anywhere between 18 and 22 minutes. If your oven browns them fast, take them out a little sooner. And it's that easy. Serve with your sauce of choice or pasta or whatever.
You can also Judy would also just take them and put them in a crock pot once she browned them on the stove.
With the sauce.
Too. Yeah. So she would saute them a little bit on the stove, brown them in and stick them in the sauce.
Okay.
So she would do it both ways.
I am lazy. It would be oven to crock pot with sauce for me.
She would do it both ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was the bringer of the meatballs. So
good.
It's a really good recipe. Try it. You might like it. It's simple for one of those nights that you just want to make something easy. Okay, so we're ready to move on to retail therapy. Retail therapy. Yeah. And this week's retail therapy, we're keeping within our theme this week.
Goosey.
And we've done duck and chicken jewelry. So now we're doing goose jewelry.
Because I've already looked up a ton of goose jewelry while we were doing chicken and duck jewelry.
Well, I already found that little ring thing that you need.
Oh, that's so cute.
That was cute.
Well, goose jewelry. And we're sticking with Etsy because we love Etsy.
Etsy has everything.
Mm-hmm. When I first started selling on Etsy in like 2007.
When I first walked to school, I walked over 16 hills.
That's what it sounds like. But way back in 2007. But it had to be handmade. It had to be.
Yeah.
And now you have to weed through it a little more.
Now it's, more stuff.
But that's okay because there's goose jewelry. And so you can find, there's a ton of it, really. You can find something like my husband gave me for Christmas, which is the goose shell with the Pisanki painting on it. Mm-hmm. That's a really cute pendant. And you also have to look a little bit because some of it's wild geese.
Right. There's your earrings I bought you from Lenora Dame. And that's the other thing. When we talk about jewelry, when we talk about poultry jewelry, you can go to Lenora Dame. They have everything. They make great stuff.
Yeah, so I have those big geese with the holly wreaths around their neck. Oh, I love those. Now, I love this. Everyone who grew up through the 90s has seen the white earthenware plates with geese with blue bows around their necks. Well, this is someone who breaks the plates up and makes pendants out of the broken pieces so you can get the goose part. I actually like that.
I actually like this gander ring right here.
A gander ring?
Yeah, look at this guy.
Oh, it's like a signet ring, but it's a gander with a top hat on. Oh my God, I love that.
$159. That one's a little more expensive, but
What you
cool.
can get super fun and old fashioned and use your signet ring and wax to seal letters.
Here you go. There's a garden vintage goose party.
I don't even know what decade that's from.
28. It looks like the 80s.
Yeah, it is very 80s looking. Yeah.
It's very 80s looking. Oh,
Here-
there's a purse for you.
Oh!
That's all. It's in the jewelry section.
It's a felt purse and it has like a super long goose neck. I love that. There's everything on here from like laser cut wooden earrings to lamp work goose beads.
Yeah, lots of different earrings, pendants.
Lots of geese
Oh,
with
they're
knives.
cute.
Ribbons. Okay, so everyone's seen the dangly chicken earrings where the chicken's wearing the boots.
Well, they got them for
Got
geese.
some duck earrings. Yeah, geese rather.
There's lots of different, a whole bunch of stuff. It's your 5-minute vacation. Go on Etsy, look up Goose Jewelry, and you will find a lot of stuff.
I mean, pretty much anything. Earrings, bracelets. I see rings. You got it all in here.
I see Holly, and I see. Do you remember Romper Room?
I do remember Romper Room, Miss Sally.
Yeah, at the end of the mirror.
At the end, yeah, Magic Mirror, Miss Sally. We're probably really dating ourselves there.
Oh my
but
God. Okay, so should we tell everybody what we're going to be talking about next week?
Next week, we're spotlighting a chicken that somehow we haven't done up until now, and that is the absolutely beautiful Cornish chicken.
Thanks, Jen.
Right? Main topic, we have the wonderful Janet Garman from Timber Creek Farm chatting with us about roosters.
She's so sweet.
Ooh, cracking the eggs, peach cobbler.
It's the season of the peach.
Yeah. And retail therapy. Oh, nice. Vintage chicken figurines.
Because we like to collect them.
some of our favorite things.
These are a few of our favorite things. Okay, so what should we tell everybody to do until next week?
Hug your chickens.
Every day and kiss them too. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you'd like to see more of us, please follow us on Instagram at Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. If you'd like to help us grow the podcast, please leave us a written review on Apple Podcasts. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, please visit our Patreon page, patreon.com/coffeewiththechickenladies. Thanks for listening.